Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope so. I'm audible properly. Am I? Please let me know in a comment section. Hello, everyone. Hi, very good afternoon. Please join me quickly. Hi, very good afternoon. Am I audible, right? Okay, so let's begin this session with a very important chapter, and the chapter name is Magadha Empire and the Maurya Empire. Right? In your previous class, we have already discussed the Mahajanpad and the religious segment in your class. Right? I hope so. You don't have any doubts regarding your last or previous class. Okay, so let's begin this session. If you're watching this session in a recorded format, definitely you can put all your doubt in a doubt window. Either me or my teaching assistant will answer all your query. Hi. Okay, so first of all, let's discuss the Magad Empire. So basically, Magad, the evidence of Magad Empire, the mention of Magad Empire, or you can say Magad first appear in Atharvaved. They were first appear in Atharvaved. That is why it is the earliest dynasty we actually studied in whole history, right? So Magad Empire is a time period, or you can say actually in a Sola Mahajanpad we have already seen of one Janpad, or actually we have seen a 16 janpads, and among the 16 janpads there were some powerful janpads. For example, Magad, Avanti, uh, Kurukshetra region. So these region or these janpads were very important in a respect of history part. And here we will study our first dynasty, and the first dynasty is Magad Empire. As I have already told you that it was a dynasty, it was first appear in a Atharvaved. This particular Magad Empire was, so this was a region. See here, this was a region, or this was a particular part where the Magad originated. Okay, as you can see this area. Slowly they spread their empire into all over India almost. These are the 16 janpads. Okay, and among the 16, the Magad was very important. Then after your Matsya part was very important. Apart from this, the Avanti part was very important. But we have to cover a first dynasty, and your first dynasty is Magad dynasty. Let's understand this Magad dynasty first of all. So, firstly, this is your Magad Empire, right? If we talk about the time period, the tenure of the Magad Empire, so Magad Empire was started in the year around 544 before Christ. So this Magad is present location of Magad is somewhat Bihar region or a Bihar area, right? Now, under this Magad Empire, we have seen around three major dynasty who ruled in this area. Okay. The first dynasty was Haryak dynasty. Okay. Second dynasty was Shishunag dynasty. Your third dynasty was Nanda dynasty, or you can say Nanda dynasty. So under a Magad Empire, you have seen three major dynasty who ruled over a high. Thank you, and I'm very good right now. Touch word, I'm okay, completely okay. Okay, so basically this Magadha Empire was ruled by different or three important dynasties. Sometime they can ask you a chronological order of these dynasty. So keep in mind that Haryak is first, Shishunag is second, and third is Nanda dynasty. Now, let's discuss the important ruler of these dynasties. For example, let's talk about the Haryak dynasty. So, Bimbisar was the ruler, or you can say Bimbisar was the founder of Haryak dynasty. The timing is 544 to 492 before Christ. Okay. Second ruler of Haryak dynasty was Ajatashatru, his son Ajatashatru. Okay, the time period of Ajatashatru was around 490 before Christ to 460 before Christ. Okay, then after Ajatashatru, his son Udayan became a next ruler, and his time period or the tenure from 460 before Christ to 444 before Christ. Okay, this was the scenario. I'm good right now. Thank you so much for your concerns, guys. Then after, Udayan was the last ruler of Haryak dynasty. Then after, a one ruler came and he killed the last ruler of Haryak dynasty and completely renamed or established a new dynasty under a Magadha Empire is Shishunag dynasty. Who was the first ruler of Shishunag dynasty was Shishunag himself. Okay. Then after Shishunag, his son became our next ruler and the name was Kala Shok. You have heard these names, the Kala Shok, Ajatashatru, where? In a Buddhist council. Remember, the first Buddhist council was organized by Ajatashatru. The second Buddhist council was organized by this Kala Shok. Remember? Okay. Now, the time period of Shishunag was, the time period of Shishunag was around 412 to 392 before Christ. See, the whole history is based on the different kind of evidence. Okay, so there's doesn't mandatory that we have to cover each and every year in the history. Sometimes the evidence lost, so the year lost. Okay, then after the Kala Shok, the timing of Kala Shok was before Christ. Yes, after. See, before Christ is somewhat a number in before Christ. It is always in descending order. Okay, 394 to 364 before Christ. 2002, 2001, 22, 23, 24. These are the AD, Anno Domini. Okay, now the Nanda dynasty. Again, the Kala Shok was the last ruler of Shishunag dynasty, and after Kala Shok, Mahapadam Nanda was the first ruler, or you can say the founder of the Nanda dynasty, Mahapadam Nanda. Okay, timing 344 to 334 AD. Okay, after Mahapadam Nand, Dhananand became our next ruler, or you can say Dhananand became a last ruler, and he was the last ruler of whole Magadha Empire. So this is a chart of your Magadha Empire. Now we are ready to cover each and every ruler separately, right? Is that okay? Clear? The chart is clear, guys? Okay. Now, let's discuss each and every ruler separately with the help of slides, and I can also discuss each and every ruler here only. Okay, for example, first of all, Bimbisar. The timing here. Now, if we talk about the Bimbisar, he was the first ruler, or you can say he was the founder. Sometimes they can ask you a first ruler of Magadha Empire, right? They can also ask you who was the founder of Magadha Empire. So only the Bimbisar was the founder of Magadha Empire, as well as he was the founder of Haryak dynasty. Clear? Now, contemporary and follower of the Buddha, okay, keep in mind, was also said to be an admirer of Mahavir, who was also in his contemporary. Had his capital at Rajgrah, very important part, because sometimes they asked you what was the capital of Bimbisar in Magadha Empire, what was the capital of Ajashatru in Magadha Empire. So there were separate capital in a case of different rulers. Okay, there's nothing like a particular dynasty and a particular capital. No, the capital will be changed if the ruler is going to be changed. Okay, so in a case of Brahma Bimbisar, the capital is Giraj, or you can say Rajgrah. Location present Bihar. It was surrounded by 5 hills, the openings of which were closed by stone walls or all the side, and this made Rajgrah impermeable. Also known as Srenya, it was a title name of Bimbisar, the Srenya. Then after, he was the first king to have a standing army. Magad came into prominence under his leadership. He had a rivalry with Avanti king Pratyuday, but later became friends, and Bimbisar even sent his royal physician Jivika to Ujjain when Pratyuday had some issues or some sick. Okay, so this was a condition of Bimbisar. Actually, Bimbisar became a very important ruler, or even Bimbisar spread his whole empire very nicely, or he covered each and every, almost he spread his empire in a region of each and every Mahajanpat. But the main reason for spreading his empire, or to spread the empire, was actually not his power but the matrimonial alliances. So he spread his empire through a different matrimonial alliances. So he got married to 3 women, especially. First was Kaushala Devi. From parents of Kaushala Devi, he received a Kaushal Raj or a Kashi Raj region, kind, you can say a Eastern UP region, right? Then after, he got married to Chelanna, his second wife, a region of South India, somewhat Asak part, he received as a dowry part. Then after, he got married to Khema, and from our parents of Khema, he received a Punjab or a Asmak area again. Okay, so through this matrimonial alliances, he spread his complete region, or he spread his empire. Clear? Okay, now see here. He started the practice of using matrimonial alliances, Kaushal Devi. Then after, second is Chelanna, and the third is Khema. Okay, he followed a policy of conquest and expansion. Most notable conquest by Bimbisar was that of Ang, and he had an effective and excellent administration. The officer occupying high posts were divided into 3: executive, military, and the judiciary. So during a Bimbisar time, the system was completely divided into 3 different parts. Okay, clear? Now, moving to the next part. There's a theory that Bimbisar was killed by his own son Ajashatru, and Ajashatru became a next ruler of Magad, or you can say Haryak dynasty. He was a son of Bindusar and Chelanna, because Bindusar got married to 3 ladies. So Bimbisar was the son of Chelanna and Bimbisar. He killed his father and became ruler. He convened the first Buddhist council. This is very important. So in 483 before Christ, he organized a first Buddhist council, as he was the follower of Buddhism, right? So this part is very important. Now, one war against Kaushal and Vaishali. Ajashatru waged a war against Vaishali. despite the fact that his mother was a Lichvi princess, and it took him around 16 long years to destroy Vaishali and add it to his empire. Vaishali is again Bihar region area. He used a war engine to throw stone-like catapults, and he also possessed chariot to which misses. Yeah, one more part. He also performed two yajans. One is Ashmegh Yajna. He performed this Ashmegh Yajna or the Ashmegh Yajna. The ruler of Avanti tried to invade Magad, and throughout his danger, Ajashatru began the fortification of Rajgreh. However, the invasion did not materialize during his lifetime. Now, so this was a major part of Ajashatru, actually, we can say. Okay, now the next ruler. No issue, I'll compress the PDF, and then after the line will be shown. Okay. After Ajashatru, again there was a theory that Ajashatru is again killed by his own son, and Udyan became a next ruler. So sometime it is known as Bhadra, and sometime it is known as Udayan. He was a son of Ajashatru. See, shifted his capital to Patliputra. So one more part. See, the capital of Bimbisar was Rajgreh. See here, Rajgreh. Capital of Ajashatru, Vaishali, because he conquered the Vaishali, that is why. Then after, the capital of Udyan was Patliputra. Actually, he built a Patliputra or the modern Patna at the bank of river Son and Ganga. And after the build, he shifted his capital from Vaishali to Patliputra. Last of the major Haryak ruler, Udyan's reign is important because he built the fort upon the confluence of the river Ganga and the Son at Patliputra. This was done because Patna lays in a center of the Magadha kingdom, which now extended from the Himalayas in the north and to the hills of the Chota Nagpur plateau or the Chota Nagpur region, you can say. Here to here. Okay. Then after, the last ruler of Haryak dynasty. See here, the last ruler of Haryak dynasty. There's a theory that there were three last rulers, but depending on the some important sources, we considered Nagdashak. Nagdashak is the last ruler of Haryak dynasty. Nagdashak was killed by Shishunag, and Shishunag established a next dynasty under a Magad, and that dynasty is termed as Shishunag dynasty. Yajan is a Yagya. Okay? Any doubts again? Doubts? Okay. Then after, according to the Sri Lanka Chronicle, the people of Magad revolted during the region of Nagdashak and placed a Amatya. Amatya means a minister. Sometimes they can ask you a post. What is Amatya in Indian history? So Amatya means the meaning of Amatya is a minister. Named Shishunag as the king. Shishunag dynasty lasted from. Okay. Shishunag was a viceroy of Kashi before becoming a ruler of Magadha Empire. His capital was, sometime it is termed as Rajgreh. Sometimes it is termed as Vaishali. So there's a conflicts between the Vaishali and the Rajagriha in the case of Shishunak's capital. The most important achievement of Shishunak was the destruction of the power of Avanti with his capital at the Ujjain, and this brought to an end the 100-year-old rivalry between the Magad and the Avanti. And Avanti finally became a part of Magad Empire. Avanti is somewhat a MP and Maharashtra border region. Later shifted the capital to Vaishali. Okay, that is why there's a conflict between the Rajagriha and the Vaishali part. Okay. After the Shishunak ruling, or basically the Shishunak part, the Kala Ashok became a next ruler of Haryak dynasty. He was a son of Shishunak, also known as, due to his color issue, due to his more melanin in the skin, his color was a little bit dark, and that is why Kalashok was sometime it was he was termed as the Kak one. Kak is chrono and one is the color. Okay. Kalashok shifted the capital from Vaishali to Patliputra. Okay. He conducted the second Buddhist council 383 before Christ, Vaishali, at Vaishali. He was killed in a palace revolution that brought the Nanda dynasty to become a throne, or to got the throne. Okay. Second Buddhist council was the major part of his empire, of his part. Okay. Now, moving to the next part. After the Kalashok, the Nanda dynasty, two important rulers. First is Mahapadam Nand. So basically, Mahapadam Nand claimed to be a title, or he got a title name Ekrat. His title name was Ekrat. He was the founder of Nanda dynasty under a Magad part. Okay. Kind of sacrifice. Hi, you can say it. In a case of Yajans. See, sometimes it is a kind of sacrifice, sometimes it is not. Why? For example, in an ancient history, we have seen some Yajans. For example, first is Agnishthom Yajan. Now, what it was? Agnishthom Yajan or Agnishthom Yag is a yagya when a particular ruler, a particular person took a crown, or during a time of his coronation, there was a one yajan performed, and that yajan is termed as Rajasur. Okay. Then after there was a Bajpeyi Yagya also mentioned. Then after Ashmegh Yagya. So in a case of Ashmegh Yagya, one horse to be left, and from where a horse is roaming around that particular area, it comes under the owner of that particular house of horse. Okay. If they doesn't want to give a particular empire, then there's a starting of the particular war. Okay. So there's a different kind of yajans is mentioned in the Indian history. Okay. Okay or not? Those who are leaving a class in a mid part, please give a feedback, everyone. There's a very few students who give your feedback. Please participate in a feedback, please. Okay, moving now. The next ruler of the Nanda dynasty was Dhananand. Very, very important. Dhananand. You can say it, he was the last ruler of Nanda dynasty, or you can say Nanda dynasty, as well as he was the last ruler of Magadha Empire. Okay, Bimbisar was the first ruler of Magad Empire, and Dhananand was the last ruler of Magad Empire. Okay, he was a contemporary of, Alexander. During his time, Alexander visited in India, and there was a huge battle take place, a battle of Vitasta, or you can say a battle of Hinde speech, right? During his time, when he was ruling in this Magad region, Alexander visited a porous area, or the Punjab area, right? Now, with the help of, actually, there was a one incident known that one day, Dhananand organized a huge Brahman Bhoj in his empire, or in his court, and Dhananand's minister gave an invitation to the Kautilya, or you can say Chanakya. There was a one theory that Chanakya was a Pandit or the Brahman. Some believe that Chanakya was not a Pandit or a Brahman. But apart from this, the minister of Dhananand gave an invitation to Chanakya for the Brahman Bhoj. Receiving of invitation, the Kautilya or Chanakya visited Dhananand Empire, and when Dhananand saw Chanakya or a Kautilya, he completely insulted him among the people or the Brahmins, right? After that incident, the Kautilya left the court and decide somewhat that he will take a revenge, right, with the Dhananand. And then after Kautilya or Chanak took a one child and trained him, guide him completely. And after in his young age, the Chandragupta Maurya, who was the disciple of Chanakya, Chandragupta Maurya killed Dhananand and he ended the Magadha Empire and starting of a Maurya Empire, or you can say he founded the Maurya Empire and ended the Magadha Empire. Clear, everyone? Clear or not? Okay. Okay. Now, moving to the next part. So, here we have covered this Magad Empire part, right? Okay. Just give me a minute again. Done. Okay. Now, as I have told you that Dhananand was the contemporary of Alexander, or you can say Sikandar, right? So there's a one short part of Sikandar we have to cover, or you can say Alexander. Okay. Sometimes they can ask a question, sometimes they not. Alexander. You can also term him as a Sikandar. Right. The timing, basically, there's no such timing of Alexander in India. We have to just cover the battle or the time when he visited in India. So Sikandar, or you can say Alexander, he was a son of Philip II. Philip II, who was a king of Macedonia. Right? After the death of Philip II, around in a year 334 before Christ, Alexander got the throne, and after receiving a throne, he started to cover or capturing the whole Persia or the Persian region. After completing the Persian region, he started to cover or capture the Asian region or the Asian part. To the Asian journey, he started his journey, or basically, he started his journey to India also, right? You can say he marched to India, through a Khyber Pass, Hindu Kush mountain range in year 326 before Christ, right? Alexander also crossed the Indus River with the help of bridge or some boats, and enter in a Multan region or enter into a this particular area, right? Then after, when he entered in India, he was received by Takshila ruler Ambhi. Okay, and Ambhi greet the Alexander because he know about the Alexander, and basically he doesn't have any idea or any path, so that is why he completely helped Alexander, or he completely greet the Alexander, right? After uh, after spending some time in this region, then after he went to the porous region, or you can say just a minute. He started a war Alexander and, or you can say versus. Just a minute. Versus King Porus, right? In a battle of, so actually this particular battle was at the bank of river Jhelum, or the ancient name of Jhelum was Vitasta. So it is, sometime it is termed as the battle of Vitasta, sometime it is termed as battle of Jhelum, or in a Persian language it is termed as battle of hind speech. Well, in this battle, Alexander won, and but returning to his originating area or the Macedonia, he completely left or gave his ruling area to the Porus again. But when Alexander returned to India, Alexander left his representative named Seleucus Decatur. We will meet him in a during a Chandragupta Maurya time, right? Seleucus Decatur. He was a representative of Alexander who ruled in Afghanistan region actually, who started his ruling in a Afghanistan region. And then after some time, you can say the Alexander died in a Babylon, or you can say a Baghdad, in which year? So in just 323 before Christ. You can say a Babylon or a Baghdad region. So this was a story of Alexander. Sometime they can ask you a question from an Alexander part also. Okay. After it, as this was a parallel thing which running in between in India, or you can say the northern part. But in a between in India, or in a case of Magad, the Dhananand was killed by the Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya founded a next empire in India, and that empire is termed as Maurya Empire. Okay, ready or any doubts? Now, if you have any doubts from a Magadha Empire, from Alexander part, please ask me. No doubts? No issues? Okay, moving to the next part. So let's talk about the Maurya Empire. Exam point of view, very, very important chapter due to Ashoka region. And there's a lot of sources, right? There's a lot of sources which we actually covered in Indian history is from the Mauryan Empire. So that is why it is also a very, very important chapter, right? Now, so this was a particular part where the Mauryan Empire ruling, right? As you can see, just some part of southern India exception, and then after he completely ruled over all India, right? The famous drama known as Mudra Rakshas describing the Chandragupta Maurya army was written by Vishakdutt. Sometimes they can ask this question. Mudra Rakshas was written by Vishakdutt. Mudra Rakshas is associated with which empire in the history? So it is also associated with the Mauryan Empire. You can consider it as a source of knowledge for the Maurya Empire. Okay. Now, if we talk about the chart of Mauryan Empire, there were three important rulers who ruled over Mauryas on Maurya Empire. First is Chandragupta Maurya, right? Second is Bindusar. Bindusar was the second ruler who ruled in in a Maurya Empire, and third was Ashoka. So we have to cover majorly three rulers, while after Ashoka, there's a lot of rulers ruled in a Maurya Empire, but there's no need to cover because this content is more than sufficient. Okay, so this is your Maurya Empire. We are going to start now. As you already know that Maurya Empire was established by Chandragupta Maurya by killing the Dhananan, and so that is why Chandragupta Maurya is considered as the first, or you can say the founder of Maurya Empire. You can already see the tenure or the time period of Chandragupta Maurya. Sometime it is 321 before Christ to 297, or sometime in a book it is also mentioned it's 298 before Christ. Okay, there's no need to be little bit issues or confusion of the years of ancient history, because whenever you are referring any other book, there's a little bit 1 or 2 year is added. Okay, so no issues. Now, Chandragupta Maurya, he was the Mauryas and also known as the name of Samrat Chakravartin, or that is the universal ruler. He defeated the last ruler of Nanda dynasty, Dhananan, with the help of Chanakya Kautil. And what was the original name of Chanakya? It was a Vishnu Gupta. Very important. Okay, whenever I'm saying a very important, that means it is very important for the exam point of view. Okay, so the real name or the original name of Chanakya was Vishnu Gupta. Now, Chandragupta Maurya started his ruling into a Magadha Empire. Then he spread his area to Avanti, then after Kuru, then after Sursen, the different Mahajanpads. Once he completed his Mahajanpad, he again moved to the Afghanistan region. Remember that Alexander who left his representative Seleucus Nicator was ruled in a Afghanistan region. Now they will meet. So he defeated Seleucus Nicator because Chandragupta Maurya spread his empire, and without any know this thing or the fact, he attacked on Afghanistan region. Now Afghanistan was completely ruling by Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator was again ready for the war, and there was a war between the Chandragupta Maurya and the Seleucus Nicator, general of Alexander, in which year 305 before Christ. Sign a treaty with him and enter into a marriage alliances. So during in this war, what happened? In this war, Chandragupta Maurya, because Seleucus Nicator was quite influenced or impressed with Chandragupta Maurya. So he proposed to get married with his daughter, or the Seleucus Nicetas' daughter, Helena. So after this battle, there was a treaty signed, and under this treaty, Chandragupta Maurya got married to his daughter Helena. Acha, okay, there's no mention. Daughter Helena, as well as, and in return, he got 500 elephant and the region of northwestern India. Okay, even during this treaty, under this treaty, the Megasthenes also was the first ambassador, or became a first ambassador, who visited India or Chandragupta Maurya court. So through this particular reasons, that Megasthenes became a first ambassador who visited in Chandragupta Maurya court, and then after he wrote a one very important book named Indica, okay, on the India journey. A Greek ambassador, Megasthenes, came during the period of Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya is known by the name of Sandrocotus by the Greek scholar. So, Greek scholar actually called him as a Sandrocotus. Okay, this question has been asked. Chandragupta Maurya adopted Jainism. So, because he completely ruled over India, he captured the northern India, he captured the northwest, he captured the western region. So that is why after some time he moved to the Jainism religion, or he moved to the religion side, and he accepted the Jainism part under the influence of Bhadra Bahu, and went to Shravanbelgola, located in the Karnataka part, where he died of slow starvation. Remember the Salekhna I have mentioned in a Jainism. What is slow starvation? Slow starvation is termed as Salekhna in Jainism. Okay? At Chandragiri Hills near Mangalore in Karnataka. So basically, in the influence of Bhadrabahu, he took his life through the Salekhna, and in a Shravanbelgola, Chandragupta Maurya died. Clear? Huh? Okay. Now, two famous literature were written during the period. First is Indica, and second is Arthashastra. Arthashastra is written by Chanakya, Indica written by Megasthenes. Clear? Now, the next ruler, basically Chandragupta Maurya's son Bindusar became our next ruler, or the successor of Chandragupta Maurya. Bindusar is known by the name of Amitra Ghat, or you can say the slayer of enemy. Sometimes he was also termed as a Amitrochetas. The meaning of Amitra Ghat or Amitrochetas is slayer of enemy. Right? A Greek ambassador, Dimachus and Dionysus, came during the period of Bindusar. Actually, Bindusar's relationship with a foreign ruler was quite good. Usually, they exchange the items, they exchange the material, kind of barter system they use, right? There was a one letter received that somewhat Bindusar asked their Greek friend to send a wine as well as a ambassador. So wine and these Dimachus and Dionysus ambassador visited Bindusar's time, and the Greek friends asked for the gold of India. So he sent a gold to his Greek friends, and then after they send their ambassador. Now, it is believed that Bindusar expanded the Maurya Empire from east to west and conquered almost India except the Kalinga region in Odisha. It was left. We will discuss in Ashoka part, and Plateau region of Kerala part. Yeah, there's a one very important thing that during a Bindusar, there was a huge revolt took place in Takshila. This revolt was sorted by Bindusar's two sons named Ashok and Sushi. Right? There was a question they've asked, whose tenure the Takshilas received a revolt, right? So Bindusar's time, the Takshila was the time. Now Antiochus first in written sent everything except the sophists because the Greek law prohibited sending of sophists. So yeah, it was a part which I have told you in a story form. Bindusar made his son Ashok as a governor of Ujjain, and Bindusar died in the year 273 before Christ. There was no need to learn the died or the born year of ancient ruler. Okay, they have never asked. No. This is your Bindusar part. Now, the most important ruler of Indian history is the Ashok. So basically, after the death of Ashok, there was a struggle for throne, but in the end, so there was a struggle of throne between Ashok and Sushi. According to the Singhli tradition, there was a story that Ashok killed his 99 brothers and took a throne from a Sushi because Sushi was the elder one. Now, finally, but in the end, Ashok was crowned as a king of Maurya Empire in the 269 before Christ year. Important in a case of year. Okay, the Ceylons or the Sri Lankan chronicles, that is a tradition. Name is Deepa Vamsa, and Mahavamsa tells the Ashok killed his 99 brothers, including his elder brother Shushi, but he spared his youngest brother Tissa. His father name was Bidusar, her mother name was Maharani Dharma or Subhadrangi. Now, Ashok had 4 wives, namely this. Sometime Karuvaki is the main or the main queen. Karuvaki is the main queen. The source is from the Rani inscription. There's a lot of inscription you have to cover in Ashok. Rani inscription. Okay. Now, moving to the next part. Ashoka won the famous battle. So basically, when because during a Bindusar, there was a one region left. First is Kerala region, and the second was Kalinga or the Odisha part. So to cover that Odisha part, Ashok made a plan to attack on a Kalinga part and won the famous battle of Kalinga. But this battle is a huge turn in his life. In the year 261 before Christ, very, very important 261 before Christ, Battle of Kalinga, in which around 1 lakh people died, and Ashoka mentioned about the Kalinga War in the Rock Edict 13 as well as the Hathi Gumfa inscription. The questions like, what are the main sources of a Kalinga War? In which year Kalinga War had between two rulers or between Ashoka and the ruler of Kalinga, Nanjaraj. Nanjaraj was the ruler of Kalinga. Between Ashok and Nanjaraj, this Kalinga battle held. Inscription. Okay, so Ashoka's 13th Rock Edict and this Hathi Gumfa inscription are the main source of knowledge of this Kalinga battle. So as I have told you that this Kalinga battle was made a U-turn or basically a 5 names. Actually, he had a lot of 5 please. Okay. Now, after adopting, so after the Kalinga War, finally Ashoka decided to left this empireship and this rulership completely and moved to the Buddhism. Okay. Keep in mind, Chandragupta Maurya moved to the Jainism and Ashok moved to the Buddhism. Now, after adopting Buddhism, Ashoka changed completely and adopted the policy of Dharma Vijay and replaced the old policy of Digvijay. After building the famous Sanchi Stoop at Sanchi in Madhya Pradesh, Ashoka organized the third Buddhist council. Remember, in a Pataliputra. Who was the chairman? Bhadrabahu. Sorry, Mogliputtatis. Just a minute. Maski inscription 39. Okay. Yes. So Ashok was completely inspired to accept the Buddhism. Nigrowth and Upgupta. Right. The philosophy and the sermons of Upgupta and the Nigrowth, the monk of Buddhism, Ashok decide to convert into a Buddhism. Okay, so these are also these two personalities are also important in a case of Ashoka path. Now, Ashok sent his son Mahendra and daughter Sangmitra to Ceylon and other South Asian countries to propagation of Buddhism. Ashok was known by the name of Devnam Priya, beloved of God, and Priya Dasi, of pleasing appearance. He was also known by the name of Buddha Shakya and Ashoka. So actually, which of the following is the main source of his name Ashok? So Maski inscription or the Maski edict is the main source of his original name Ashoka. Okay, and Dharma Shoka in the Sarnath inscription. Ashok built 39 rocks and pillars across India from Kandahar to Mysore in order to propagate again Buddhism. So that is why his inscriptions, his pillar edict, his rock edicts are very important. Now, the Topra and the Meerut. So basically, let's talk about some pillar edicts. Pillar edicts of Ashoka to build the or to propagate the Buddhism. He built some pillars. For example, first is Delhi Topra. Second is Delhi Meerut. Third is Rampurva. Fourth is Laurya Araras. Fifth is Laurya Nandgarh. Prayag, or sometimes it is termed as the Prayag Prashasti. Okay. Now, Delhi Topra, originally it was situated in Saharanpur district. So Ashoka built this Delhi Topra in Saharanpur district, UP. But later on, it was shifted by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq to Delhi. Getting my point? Now, Delhi Meerut. Again, originally this pillar was found in Meerut, UP. Again, Firoz Shah Tughlaq shifted this pillar to the Delhi. Rampurva. Rampurva, Laurya Araras, Laurya Nandgarh. These three pillars found in Champaran district, Bihar, and still there. Champaran district, Bihar, and still here. Next, the Prayag or Prayag Prashasti. Originally, it was found in Kaushambi, UP. Later on, by Akbar, it was shifted from Kaushambi to Prayag or the fort of Allahabad, because fort of Allahabad was built by Akbar. Prayag. Okay, so these are the pillar edicts of Ashoka. Very important. You can see here. Now, there's some important cave edicts also mentioned in a case of Ashok. Cave edicts, very important. So in a case of cave edits, actually Ashoka built 4 caves. Okay, 4 caves where the inscription or source of knowledge are the basic meaning you can consider for the edicts and the inscription. Okay, see, these core 4 caves was built in Barbara district, sorry, Barbara Hills, Bihar. So there's a one hill named is Barbara Hill, Bihar. In this hill, there are 4 important caves which was built by Ashok to propagate the Buddhism. First is Karn, second is Chopal, third is Vishwa Jhopdi, and fourth is Sudama. These are the 4 caves. Very important. Okay, clear? Okay, the script of these inscriptions or edicts were, sometime it is Aramaic script, sometime it is a Kharoshti script, sometime it is a Brahmi script. So there's a different script and pictographic images used in the inscriptions of Ashoka. Okay, clear? Now let's talk about some administration part of Maurya Empire or the Mauryas. See, the Mauryan administration, very important, because they have asked this question, who was a Samartha, who's a Yuvraj, who's a Senapati, who's a Purohit. So these kind of posts generally asked. First of all, the Mantri, termed as chief minister, right? Then after Purohit, chief priest, Senapati, commander-in-chief, Yuvraj, crown princess, Samartha, revenue collector, Yukta, subordinate revenue officer. Then after Shulakadhyaksh. Shulakadhyaksh is the office in charge of royal income. Then after Prashasti, prison head, Sanidata, treasury head, Kosha Adhyaksh, treasury officer. Then after Koshtra Adhyaksh, royal treasury manager. Then after Nayak, city security chief. Apart from this, these are a lot of Mauryan administration. Please go through these posts. Please go through the post. Due to lack of time, actually, I cannot define these posts, or I guess the name is sufficient to describe the particular post. Okay? Okay? Please tell me quickly, okay, as I have another class. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet you in the next class. Till then, thank you so much. Please keep revising this history part, else it will be vanish completely. Okay, so please revise, make your notes, pick an important point, and then after make your notes. Okay, bye bye. Thank you so much. I hope so you like the class. If you like the class, don't forget to give us feedback. Okay, thanks. Bye bye.